Hello, everyone, and welcome to my B1 Low Intermediate English course. In this module, you will learn usually versus used to, be used to, and get used to. At the end, you will get to practice what you just learned with a few sample exercises. Let's get started. All right, so we'll look at this chart really quick. So I'll go over these briefly. So we have used to, and we use it with an infinitive. Used to be, used to do, yeah, things like that. And then it's also for repeated actions in the past. For example, when I was a teenager, I used to go dancing every weekend. Okay, and then as a child, I used to dream about becoming a football player. So these were all repeated things in the past. And then there's past states, which are no longer true. For example, he used to be blonde as a child. Um, and then we have be used to. So this is used with an ing verb or a noun. So, for example, to be used to doing something or to be used to something. So, it really means to be accustomed to when something is not strange or difficult anymore after some time. For example, I'm still not used to driving on the left. It's a different country. Yes, and I'm getting used to it. All right. So then we have get used to. Um, so this is used with an ing verb or noun also. So we can get used to doing something or get used to something. So kind of like this. Okay, so this means to become accustomed to something or doing something. So, for example, I've just started my new job and I am still getting used to working night shifts. So that means I'm not used to it yet. Um, all right, so we'll talk more about this on the next slides. Okay, so usually, used to, be used to, and get used to. So let's talk about used to with the infinitive. This is for repeated actions in the past. So we can use used to plus infinitive to talk about past habits or things that we did repeatedly in the past. So, for example, when I was a child, I used to go skiing every winter. So this was in the past as a child. Then we have I didn't used to smoke before I got this job. So it wasn't a habit before, but now it is. All right. Then we have situations or states that are no longer true. All right. We can use used to plus infinitive to talk about situations or states using stative verbs, which were true in the past but are no longer true. Okay, so a couple examples. As a child, I used to be a blonde. Okay, this here is a state. It's no longer true. Now my hair is probably darker. Okay, then we have she used to live with her mom when she was a teenager. Okay, this is a past situation here. Live. Then I have I used to have 5 dogs when I lived in Colorado. So this only the situation is only true for back here when I lived in Colorado. Okay, now let's talk about used to, didn't used to, or did you used to, as in a question. Okay, so the negative form of used to plus infinitive is didn't used to. And we make questions with did you used to, and so on. So, for example, I didn't used to practice sports as a teenager. So, so we didn't do this, right? Then when we got older, we did this, practice sports. Okay. And then the question, did you used to study in the library when you were in university? So, okay. All right. Then we have I usually do. All right. So, used to only has a past form. If we want to talk about present habits or things that we do repeatedly in the present, we should use usually, normally, often with present simple. All right, so we used to, I added the D, it was a typo. We used to go to the cinema on Friday evenings. So this is in the past, and then present, we usually go to the cinema on Friday evenings. So this is the only difference here, used to versus usually. Now we'll talk about be used to. So if you are used to something or doing something, you are accustomed to it already. Maybe it's something that is new, strange, or difficult, but you have done it for some time, and now you don't find it new, strange, or difficult anymore. Okay, so be used to is a state, so is never used in continuous forms. It's normally used in simple tenses. So, for example, when I started working, it was hard to get up at 6 a.m., but now I'm used to it. And then there's I've been living in England for a short time, and I'm still not used to driving on the left. Yeah. Okay. So then we have get used to. So if you get used to something or doing something, you become accustomed to that thing, whatever it is. To get used to something is the process of becoming used to something. So it means you're not used to it yet. All right, so we have I've just started my new job and I'm still getting used to waking up so early. So that means it still feels new or strange to me. All right, and then it might be difficult at first, but you will get used to driving a semi truck. Okay, Okay, then we have used to plus infinitive, be or get used to plus a noun or ing verb. So the past verb used to is always followed by an infinitive. The word to, of course, is part of the infinitive. For example, I used to play basketball when I was in school. So, yeah, so we've got to play. And then after be used to or get used to, we use a noun or an ing verb. So the word to here is a preposition, not part of an infinitive. So that is why when a verb follows, it must take the ing form. All right. So, for example, we have I'm not used to this cold and rainy weather. So we've got used to plus this noun. So weather's the noun, but cold and rainy describe it. And then we have I'm I'm sure you will get used to work with John. Okay, and then compare with this last one. I'm sure you'll get used to working with John. So you see right here, the second one is not right. It needs the ing here to form the noun, working with John. All right, well, let's move on to a few sample exercises and good practice and check our knowledge. Okay, exercise one. So from the drop down boxes, we'll choose the best one. Usually used to, be used to, and so on. All right, so I used to, or got used to, or was used to work in a bank, but now I'm working as a designer. Okay, so we know that comes before the verb. If you chose the first one, used to, that would be correct. All right, number two, we, okay, didn't used to, used to, or didn't use to go to the cinema very often. Okay, so which one would sound correct? So we know that the bottom one is not use, it's not a correct form. So if you chose the first one, didn't used to, that would be correct. Right, number three, we eat out every Saturday. Okay, get used to, or usually. Okay, so we can see that the second one is use, not used, right? And we know that this one's doesn't sound right, so that would leave the third one, usually, right? So as a present habit. Okay, number four. So I get used to, I'm used to, or used to getting up early. I've been doing it for 30 years. Okay, so this already means you're accustomed to it. So, all right, that would mean if you chose the middle one, am used to getting up early. That would be correct. All right, let's look at number five. Try that. I've been in France for a week and so got used to, am getting used to, or usually driving on the right. Okay, so we've got I. Okay, so it sounds like not quite. So we've got the middle one. If you chose that, am getting used to, that would be the best choice here. Okay, let's look at exercise two. Okay, multiple choice here. So, all right, so number one, when we were children, we use skiing every winter. Okay, to go, go, or to going. All right, so what would be the best answer here? Okay, if you chose the option A, to go, that would be the correct one. Um, so the infinitive form. Okay, number two, Tommy and I are very different, but we are used, okay, to living, to live, or living. Okay, okay, so we have the well, the ing's form here is what we want to use, right? Used to something. Okay, so if you chose option A, to living, that would be correct. Right, number three there. So got used to being, used to be, or was used to being. A library at the end of the street, but now there's a gym. Okay, all right, so the one that sounds the best would be, well, if you chose option B, used to be, that would be it. We don't want to say was used to being. All right, one more here. Okay, I'm not feeling well. I'm not used to go out, going out, or to going out until so late. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, okay. All right, if you chose the last one, option C, to going out until so late, That would be the correct one. Okay, the third exercise. Okay, so here we'll just do a few and choose from this box here, the phrases, whatever. All right, so a few years ago, we used to what in a very small flat in a very poor area. Okay, so all right, so we want this is the infinitive form. So live. Yep. Okay, we were used to, it's number two, what with very little. Okay, so that means, so used to plus a noun, right? So we want the ing verb. So living. Okay, we what to have good furniture or a good TV. And of course, we didn't use. Okay, so let's look at number three. All right, so that means it's part of the story. So we that would be didn't didn't use. So if it's negative, we have didn't use, no D at the end, just like here. Okay, of course we didn't use, okay, to what it was to have an internet connection. So, all right. So to do what? I mean, this is a non-action verb, so it would be to know. Infinitive form, what it was to have an internet connection. In our neighborhood, the streets use, okay, dark and dirty. And what used to be a lot of robberies. Okay, so let's see. Okay, to be. So the infinitive form, dark and dirty, and what used to be a lot of robberies. Okay, so we have the word there. Okay, so, all right, so there we go. Kind of a, um, what do you call it? Preparatory subject. That's what that is. So that would be it. All right, well, excellent job on these exercises. Shows that you listen well. All right, well, I can help you learn to speak English with more confidence. I'm TESOL certified. I teach native U.S. English. I'm experienced in online tutoring, and I work with all learning levels and most age groups. So, whether you need help with grammar, speaking, vocabulary, or writing, or any other area, you've come to the right place. Well, thank you all for watching my video and happy learning.